Zack Snyder is back again with more of his Star Wars. Hey everyone, welcome back to another YouTube-tastic, exclusive-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Rebel Moon Part 2, The Scar Giver.
Oh, well, sorry.
Well, that's kind of on brand, maybe.
Wrong one. Not that.
But yes, we are back. We did a review, a YouTube exclusive review of the first movie because it was marketed as Zack Snyder's version of Star Wars. Like, this is like inspired by Star Wars and the same Japanese films that inspired George Lucas. So we're like, hey, this will be a lot of fun. So we did that first movie. So go check that out if you haven't. But we're here with the second movie. And so welcome, YouTube exclusive. We do this from time to time. With just some non-Star Wars content that we just want to do for fun and just have on YouTube to get more of our listeners to follow us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you're new to us,
Welcome.
this is out of the norm, but we got 253 episodes of our podcast so far for Star Wars stuff. So go check all that out, follow us, because we got something for everyone related to Star Wars. But we're here for Rebel Moon today. So let's just jump into it, Drew. I know the first movie we were both like,
Yeah.
But what are your overall thoughts of this second movie?
Nah. I don't know.
Meh? What did you say? Better or worse than the first one?
Better. Oh, way better than the first one.
Did you happen to rewatch the first one?
Nah, I would never do that.
Okay.
Nope. I mean, granted, it wasn't that long ago, so I felt like to have a second movie come out that quickly, I kind of already remembered like everything. So that was
Right.
kind of nice.
Right.
I felt like the story was more, it actually made more sense.
Yeah.
They there was a little bit more character developed in this, so that kind of helped the first one. So I bet you, like, if I watched the first one right away and then watched this one, like, the stories together are better for sure. Do we need an extra 2 hours of this because that's apparently what we're gonna get in a few months or something?
Yeah, so we're going to get the Snyder cut
So stupid.
of both of these movies, the first two movies. So
Mhm.
they're each going to be a 3-hour movie.
It's like
which,
an hour longer.
So, like, I think that will help because when you watch the first one, you're like, we're just jumping from thing to thing with like nothing between, and we're like,
No story
something is
developed.
because I rewatched the movie earlier
you?
this week. Yeah, just to like get a refresher. I'm like, yeah, everything is just kind of like missing information. We just go from one thing to so I feel like he made the 3-hour movie, and then Netflix just edited it down to whatever they thought was right. So like he didn't even like make the shorter version. He just made the full version type of thing.
Do you think he does that now because he can get more money by having doubled release dates of the same film?
Well, he's not going to get any more money.
Why not? It's like another movie that's coming out.
Yeah, but is it even in theaters?
No, but it's going to be on Netflix viewership wise. They get cuts from that.
Well, maybe. I just don't know how.
They get streaming cuts.
I don't know
So
how.
to drop another film of the same film, I think I swear this boy is starting to do this stuff on purpose.
Well, yeah, but he's just done it once before.
Wasn't that the last movie he made though?
I don't know. It was
I'm
just
pretty
with.
sure.
It was just with.
Well, and that one was
Justice
because like
League.
his like daughter passed away, and like so he couldn't finish the film. But it's just like, I don't know. This might be a hot take. I think he's one of the worst directors of all time.
God.
I do like everything he's besides 300 is like, I just feel like he can't figure out how to make a story within 2 hours. Like he just can't figure it out.
Hey, I will defend The Man of Steel. That is an amazing movie. And it's not choppy. It's like a very coherent story. I really like that movie. I think you should watch it.
Well,
Um,
and I feel like for 300 was the same thing. Like the first one was good. The slow motion in the first one was like a new thing. It was cool.
yeah,
I
way
do
back
want to
then.
say this one, there's a lot less slow motion, which I appreciated.
I think there's more in this one than the first
Really?
one. Yeah, dude, there's like whole scenes that are like 5 minutes long that seem like it's slow motion.
It felt a little less
I would
to
say that
me.
the slow motion in the second film like works better than the slow motion in the
I think
first
that's
film.
maybe what it is. Maybe it's the same amount, but like it flowed better. And the first one, like I mentioned this in the last one, like we literally got slow motion of a boxing scene in a bar for no reason. Like we didn't need a slow motion boxing scene. And like we were just getting slow motion stuff. And I feel like it just felt, besides the story felt choppy, it felt like even more choppy because it was slow. Um, I don't know. Overall, I feel like it helped. I liked parts of it. I don't know. Would I ever watch again? Definitely not. Like, I don't know.
Definitely not.
Probably not.
I
Like,
feel
I don't
like
know.
I feel like the Snyder cut of this one will actually be really good. Cuz I feel like there's a lot of stuff like again like a lot of stuff that is missing that he has in there that's very important. And I think there's going to be more fight from like the final battle stuff. Like the last half of this movie is just a nonstop war battle fight. So it's like there's going to be
Mhm.
more in that. Maybe we'll get more like character development stuff in like the first half because like we got some like a lot of that in this one, but like I felt like there's also missing some.
I think in the first, like his cut might actually tell more of like these characters' stories and like why they matter. Because like we mentioned that in the last one, like we're just giving these characters and
Well, right, because I thought that's what they were going to do, but then like they had that whole scene in this one where they're sitting around like that table at night and they all have to tell
Mhm.
their stories. Like, oh, okay, they're just telling those, so they're not going to tell those stories in the first one now.
Yeah, that's true. And I like that they did that.
Yeah,
Like it
like
helped.
they literally could have had that in the first movie,
Exactly.
and it would have made more sense, like why they're going to these people, and like we get to see some of their backstory. So like, oh yeah, that's why they're going to this person. But we didn't get that in the first one, so it's like okay, like sure, the lady with the what's her name, Nemesis with the sword arms, like
Mhm.
you
And
get
she
that again in the first one. Like okay, she's a cool warrior with swords, like that
yeah.
makes sense. But like the guy that looks like Matthew McConaughey with the long hair,
Mhm. He was like Prince?
like we didn't get any backstory for him really. So
No,
like it like
except
we just
his
don't.
name.
He just has a nice six pack because he doesn't wear a shirt the whole thing. Like he's fighting with no in this movie, he's fighting with no shirt on, but with like a weird like fur cape thing. I'm like, bro, that's like getting in the way. Like just take it off.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like one thing that I didn't like that stood out to me a lot. In this one particular, because I think they're all on the same planet. What's the why is everyone in like farm gear? Like there's no creativity
well,
in like clothing.
I think it's because they're just supposed to be a simple farm village that is kind of like an Amish Mennonite type thing where they're kind of all have very simple clothes, same clothing style, like nothing.
But like I just kind of wish like we got to think like for me it just didn't feel, it felt too real. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel like all these people have like these ships and this technology, and these people are like wearing like overalls and like
Well, I would say
I
that's similar to Star Wars, though. We're like,
kind of, but they have their own style and clothing style. Like there's something that stands out that like shows like okay, this is not Earth.
but I also think that there's also supposed to like parallel Europeans during World War II, since like the bad guys, the Mother World, are like straight up Nazis, like the way
Straight up
they
Germans.
like they're tired. It just like aesthetically they look like Nazis. So I think like it's
Mhm.
supposed to be kind of like 1940s farming villages in Europe that would have had simple clothing to kind of
Okay,
like mimic that.
yeah, I get that, but it's just like if this is supposed to be your version of Star Wars. And also what also bothered me, like, there's all these, like, technology and they're going through all these planets, but there's no aliens?
Well, there's in the first one there is
Yeah, but I don't know. That that also kinda bothered me a little bit.
because like in the first one when they go leave the
Or that
village at
bar.
first and they go to the bar, like there's all kinds of aliens in there.
Mhm.
Um,
I just wanted more of that in this one. But I guess it kinda makes sense because, like, that farm village is not.
not alien.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, I think this one is like way better than the first one. But
Mhm.
again, it just like jumps from thing to thing without transition, and it just seems like it's missing aspects that should be there. And I think like the big one that just like came out of nowhere was at the very end when the rest of those rebels like show up in those airplanes.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
we didn't even like, all of a
because
sudden they're there. It's
like in
like
the first movie, like the brother Blood Axe, he takes a small group that's gonna join the team. They
mhm,
all die except for that girl that has like the line across her face.
mhm,
But like the sister and the rest of the main like
didn't
90%
go.
of them, like they're like, we're not gonna volunteer for this. We have our own thing. So it's like it's missing the story of how they decided to come to this planet.
Mhm. They
And
just
like
showed up
they showed up
at
at
the
the end to save the
perfect
day.
timing.
Yeah, but like
Yeah, that's
because I feel like there had to have been like a distress call or something by that girl. I forget what her name was.
that would've been cool if there was something like that, like, she pushed, like, an emergency button or something. But, like you said, there it didn't really if they cut that out, I don't know. If this video hits, like, 1,000 over 1,000 views, then maybe I'll watch that second one, but the remake, but I don't
All right, kids, you
really.
heard it here first.
This
Share this
video
video with your friends just to get the clicks so that Drew will watch the
get the
Snyder
clicks,
cut.
bring this up, and then maybe I'll watch the Snyder cut, but as of now, I have no interest to watching
um,
anything.
but I don't know. So, and then the thing at the end of the first movie, the bad guy was his name Acticus Noble. He was that his name?
I don't know.
Yeah. He because I have Wikipedia up, so I'm looking at the characters just so I can have them there. But like he dies, but then like they revive him, and we see his like resurrection here, where it's kind of cool. Where like
Yeah,
they
it was
pump him
pretty
in,
cool.
and it's like his mind and heart are like digital in like this tank, and then like transfers it into a restored body that like. So that was kind of cool, I guess. It was kind of weird and gross, but
Well, and then, like, you we kinda didn't we already know that he was kinda robotic too? Because his, like, head had, like, a flap and he had, like, a
they might have just added. I think that
fake
was
brain.
I think that was resurrection body, like the way they did
Mm,
it. But like he's still in the first one, he still had like these like things on his chest where like
mhm.
they'd put in like pipes or something. I
That's
don't
how
know,
he
like
ate or
tubes,
something.
something. I can't. It was like something like he'd like do it for like getting like drugs like
Drugs.
put in his body or something like
Yeah.
that. But I don't know. He was a good villain in that he was just a scary, weird looking guy that like I like how he shows up to his planet, but he's like happy and like has a smile, like, hey guys, like
Mhm,
he
and then
looks
even when things started hitting the fan, he was like the way he was just walking and everything's going past him, and he's just, like, walking stoically, like, upright,
right.
killing people, like, it was pretty cool, and I do really liked his villainous feel to him because he felt like a German Nazi,
Yeah.
like, part of the SS or something, like, it worked with his character. I just for me, just the farming characters don't really work.
Yeah, and his haircut just like makes him like look more sleazy, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I liked him as a villain. I
Yeah, I
just
thought he
like
was
I
good.
think the actor had a cool portrayal of this guy. It's like really interesting.
Have they said the rating of the Snyder cut?
Like on what do you mean?
Because I thought I heard that the rating for the Snyder cut is gonna be like R.
Oh, that might be true. I feel like I've heard that.
So if that's
Um,
true, then maybe they'll show his head actually getting cut off,
I don't know,
and
maybe.
like more like the violence will probably be better. But like I don't know if I want to sit through 3 hours of this film again, even though the first one was 2 hours long.
Right. Um, but what do you think of like General Titus like leading the village to like defend themselves and like having a plan? Like, what do you think of him? Because in the first one, he's like supposed to be the best general that the Mother World had, and then like he gets betrayed. Like, we don't hear that story in the first one, but we get it in this one. But like,
Hmm.
he's supposed to be the best, and then he comes in here and he does his thing. What do you think about his?
I so like we've seen this story, right? We've seen the Magnificent Seven or the Seven Samurais. Like we've seen this story of these fighters coming and saving the farm. Like we've
Right,
seen this before. I think the take though of this one was kind of refreshing and a little bit. Like I liked how like the way he set up and like his plan with like the wheat and stuff and like how the whole point of this was they needed those supplies for their soldiers.
right,
So he's like, well, if we can farm it quick and then put it up as like barriers for us to hide behind, slash, they're not going to want to destroy it because that's their food that they're losing. So I thought that concept was kind of cool. And then the whole underground concept of how he like they set up the bombs and like they're hiding and the pop-up stuff was pretty sweet. But like I said, like the montage of them aiming and all of a sudden all of them are really good at guns. Like it's we've seen it so many times. So it's like it wasn't that was pretty common. I think like the using the food to actually like help them and then also like the bad guys wouldn't want to shoot the food because they need it. That was pretty cool. It didn't really feel like it came fruition though, because we never saw like the bad guys like contemplating shooting something because their food was in the way.
right. Because like it's like okay, we can't shoot from above because of the food, but then like when the soldiers are on the ground, they're just blowing everything up
Yeah, like it
anyway.
didn't it didn't feel like it really made a big difference on the ground, essentially. I also feel like having only one fighter protect the entire women and children is kind of stupid. Like,
Yeah,
why wouldn't you guys put those like that girl and like the axe dude? Why wouldn't you have them in there? And then I don't know.
yeah.
But I like that like when the girl was fighting and she was about to die, and then that kid comes and saves her. Like
I
that story arc was
I kind
I
of like
enjoyed it.
that.
I
Like
enjoyed that story arc.
yeah,
How
because
he
he
was
was
playing with her and she had no attachments, and then she saw herself through him when she was a kid,
yeah.
and like I don't know. I thought that story part was pretty cool. That was probably the best story arc in this entire movie.
Yeah, that whole time I'm like, that kid is gonna stab some soldier to save the
Hmm.
day, and I was like scared from the whole time. Like he's gonna.
Yeah,
What I thought was gonna happen was when he, went and stabbed the guy. He was gonna swing around and chop off the kid's arms, and then when the lady died, he would take those arms and put them on himself as a kid.
that'd been dope.
That
That
I thought that was gonna be
maybe in
what
the
was gonna happen.
Snyder cut,
Maybe, but
they'll
like,
just add that in.
but yeah, I didn't realize in the first movie like those swords were her arms. Like, I guess I just even watching it the second time, like I didn't
I didn't.
I didn't realize that the swords were her arms and that she's just walking around with swords
Oh, I thought they're
nonstop.
just. I thought she just had robot hands and she had swords because she pulls them out of her. She goes like this. I'm pretty sure they're just robot hands.
Robot hands and then the swords are separate.
Yeah. And I think the reason why she cut off her own hands to put robot hands on is because she's more agile and able to like maneuver the swords better than her own physical hands.
Okay, now that you mentioned the glove thing, man, I'm kind of remember that now. But I think she said something like when she put those on,
Hmm.
like it like transferred like her ancestral ability, like so it's like a supernatural thing awakened in her, so where she
Hmm.
was so good,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool
I
that
thought it was
like
really cool that she ended up cutting off her arms.
yeah, it's kind of intense.
It was pretty intense. So that her I would like want more story about her. And like we said this last time, like some of these characters have super cool story arcs, and we're just like getting the surface of all of them. And it's kind of underwhelming.
Like if this was a TV series, like it would be played out way better. You could
Do
flesh out these
one character
characters.
at a time. Like I just want a movie about Korra becoming Korra. Like I just want that movie. That's like a more interesting movie, better
Yeah,
plot. Like we saw her like assassin the princess or whatever. Like seeing all that pan out from the beginning of her becoming adopted by these bad guys and like her story arc. Like we get it, but we don't.
it's literally just like a 5 minute thing in the first movie to like where she was discovered as a kid and then taken by the one bad guy
Hmm.
and trained and she becomes elite. And like we hear that
And
the royal
he's still
family was
alive, right? That dude's still alive,
yes,
but
because
we he's in charge or whatever. I don't know.
he's like the top military guy. But like we knew that Korra was on the run, but we didn't know why, and we knew that the
Mhm.
royal family was killed, but like we didn't know that Korra was there when the assassination happened and that she killed the princess, which was like a big shock. Oh yeah, killed. It's just like Star Wars. No one dies. So
Yeah,
Zach got that right spot on.
true.
Um, but yeah, like you said, it'd be cool to see all this stuff played out like in a TV series with like more development, see everything. It's like a good base. Like all the little pieces are cool and interesting, but like when they're put together, it's just kind of choppy and everywhere.
And I don't know, adding an hour to both films is gonna fix that.
Right. Especially since they give the backstory of each character in the second one. So the first one is just going to be like what? Like, where are they just adding more fight scenes? Like, they can't add the same backstory. So,
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm saying if this video hits like 1,000 or something, and you guys want us to break down the Snyder cut for
well, we're not
you.
going to break down the slide. I can tell you that right
Yeah, I
now.
don't know about that either.
I'll probably watch them just for fun, but I don't
Jeremiah
have
will watch unless this hits 1,000. Like I said, you guys had 1,000 views on this. At least 100 likes. How about that? It's not even a
100
high.
likes. Wow. That's a lot of
We've done it
likes.
before. We could do it again. So like, it's not like a lot, right? So like, get this video to that, and then I will watch them
Right.
if you guys care to. If not,
Yeah.
then Jeremiah will tell me the plot and like
I'll tell you
tell
all
me if
the
it's worth it.
right. What else? So like the one like story thing that just didn't make sense to me was so like I get like so like when the mother world comes and they're there and there's like Cora, Gunner, and then like the OG guy like by the bell. Like her like wanting to turn herself in, like right at the
Mhm.
last minute to like stop this. Like it just that came out of nowhere. And then like it literally didn't matter because this everything played out that they planned because he shoots the bell and then everything happens. So
Just
it's
make it
like,
more dramatic,
but it's
essentially.
like putting that in the movie didn't have an effect on the like they could have just skipped that all together. This her like wanting to turn herself in, and everything would have played out the same.
Correct.
So it's like, why did that was that
I
put in
think it
there?
maybe because it wasn't on her anymore. Like the outcome of all of that was actually not on her. It was on her boyfriend, who is part of the village.
Right,
So he spoke for his people.
right.
So I think maybe that's the difference. Is like before it was all her. She would be the one to blame for all their deaths and whatever happened. And when the person from the village did it himself, I think that's to show like it wasn't her, it was actually like all of them together.
Maybe, yeah.
So
I
maybe
did.
that
I thought it was cool though how he like shot the bell and it was just one ding, and that was enough to like,
set off the
bro. When that chick opened up the ground and blew up that first ship,
that was so cool. That was
I was
that
like,
that part was cool.
that was cool. Like I enjoyed a lot of the from that movie on. I enjoyed a lot of the fighting and
No,
like the battles.
I
Like,
thought that part was really cool. Like the fighting. I honestly I still think that like the main guy, whatever his name is, General.
uh, the Titus guy,
Yeah, General Titus, right?
the good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I felt like he barely did anything fighting wise.
yeah.
Like he just ran out and then started shooting people and flipping them, but like his outcome, like what him and all those other people did, really didn't really add much. Like I don't know. I wanted to see him fight like some boss or
A boss
like
fight.
I don't know. Like he needed a. I wanted something. I also feel like the robot story could have been
Oh
shown a
yeah,
little bit better. Like it kind of fell short for me.
yeah. Like, because we're teased in the first movie of like how like intense like of a warrior this robot guy is, and then I was like, okay, we're gonna get it in this movie, and we see him like watching from a distance, like on the hill, them training,
So
and
stupid.
he has like these like antler horns that he just
Did
found and
he
put in his
kill a
head.
deer and
I don't
eat it?
know,
Like no.
but
Like
like the character is cool,
yes.
and honestly though, when he showed up, like I completely forgot about him. So like him showing
Yeah.
up like was kind of cool, seeing him fight all these
Yeah.
guys, and
Mhm.
but I thought we were gonna get a lot more.
Yeah.
And part of me thought he was kind of like he was gonna like transform a little bit, like get a little bit bigger. I don't know, maybe like a Grievous thing when he splits his arms open and it's like
That would
multiple
have been
arms.
kind of cool.
But either way,
He
it
was
was
fast
cool.
as heck. That
Oh
boy can
yeah,
run, dude. And then he's
yeah,
super strong. Like what he did was cool. I just think it would have been his impact for the village would have been a lot cooler if instead of him hiding and watching the village from a distance, if he actually helped plan it.
yeah,
And then like, but like you said, they kind of wanted us to like feel like there wasn't a hope left because this last tank came and all of a sudden he shows up.
yeah,
So like in that sense, I guess yeah, it kind of worked. But I want to know more about his like story than what we got, even though I don't know how much more we could have got. I don't know. I just felt a little empty with his character.
yeah. And I thought Anthony Hopkins, he does the voice
Hmm.
like it's just a cool like that voice just matches that robot for some
Yeah,
reason.
it worked.
It worked. Like
I
I
think the
really,
robot is like the strongest character of the show.
yeah.
I just think I just want more of them. I mean, so are they gonna do a third movie?
Okay, so I was wondering when we get this. So there are like plans for more. Um, Potentially a total of 6 films.
Nope. Nope.
So, but it's kind of like how like he wrote separate stories for this, and depending on if he wants to make it a part one or part two, it could be a total of 6 or it could be a total of 4. So,
Well,
um,
okay, the hype between the first movie and this movie is
but,
drastically different.
right. because
Like
there's tons of hype going into the first one.
it like premiered in certain theaters, like it was hyped up. This
Right.
one felt like no one talked about it. Everyone I forgot about it. And we talked about it this week and I still forgot because we were supposed to
Yeah.
record this episode yesterday. And then all of a sudden I got an invite to the Discord to like record this episode. I was like, bro, I haven't watched this stupid movie yet. So like that's how little hype there was about this second film. Like when it first dropped, I think everyone was hyped for to have another one like right away. But
Yeah.
I think the result and like people's thoughts of the first one and how lackluster it was slash fast and character development was really bad. I think the viewership of this second film is going to be a lot lower.
Yeah. So it's all going to depend on, if Netflix thinks it's going to be worth the
The
production,
money.
because they left it on a cliffhanger. The princess apparently is not dead. And so,
But they also left it in a sense where like if they don't do any more, it's fine.
right. And so, like, I don't know.
Have you heard
I
any hype about this second one? Like leading like
no. Like, I knew it was coming out. Like, we
yeah.
planned that we were going to do this like a month ago. Like, that this weekend we were going to record, because it came out on Friday and we're going to do it this weekend. So,
Mhm.
like, but like, I don't remember seeing any posters. There were no like advertisements for it on like YouTube
I couldn't even find it
ads.
on Netflix right away. It wasn't in the
Really?
top 10 for me or anything. I had to Google, like, I had to, like, go in the search bar and search
Really?
up Rebel Moon. I'm like, "That's a problem because the first one, it was, like, everywhere on Netflix, right?
Right.
Yeah, and, like, don't I had literally had to search it, and I was like, "This is not good,"
Right.
'cause
So,
it dropped. I'm
but
trying to think.
like, the only thing that like that got me hyped for the next movie was just the robot guy. Like, oh,
Actually
now
being
that I
part of the
know that the
team,
royal blood is still alive,
I'm gonna
that gives
help.
me motivation to fight. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. I hope to see him like even better.
Yeah,
Like he has like a workout montage where like he's getting
jacked or something.
oiling his things like joints to like
Well,
fight or
I
whatever.
mean, he to give him some sweet guns and stuff, like, he's like Zack Snyder's IG-11
Right.
without guns. So to get some guns with him and stuff would be kinda cool. Um, I don't know. There's potential there. I just don't know if they're gonna have the backup from Netflix to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious to see how much advertisement the Zack Snyder cuts will get, if that's
Right.
gonna help.
I feel like people will be more excited. Like, I bet there's a lot of people who um didn't watch them at all yet, just because they're only gonna watch a Snyder cut. I think it's in August that it's supposed to come out.
I believe it is. And honestly, I kinda wish we would've done the same. Not waste our
Oh,
time on these ones and just
uh,
waited,
yeah,
because that would've made more sense maybe, and, like, our view of this story
yeah.
would have been different.
Yeah, because I don't think we found out till after the first one came out that he was gonna do Snyder cuts.
I don't think it was announced until, like, a couple of months ago, I think.
Right. So
So we had no idea to prepare, but it's kinda like one of those things now, it's like, "Oh, kinda wish I would've waited," because now I don't really feel like watching this movie again.
right.
So and that's like, everyone was hyped for the Zack Snyder cut of whatever it's called,
Justice League,
Justice League, but I
which,
couldn't
like, I know you're not in, you gave up on it, but
I just couldn't finish it.
like comparatively, from when you Snyder cut to the original one, the Snyder cut is way better. Like, it is objectively a better. It's not like it's
Yeah.
still Zack Snyder, so it's so
Well,
weird.
and that's my take on it. Like, one, I never watched the first one because everyone hated it. And I'm like, is it better? Like, is this film actually good, or is it just so much better than the first one that you
It's
think it's good? You know what I
it's
mean?
it's better than the first one, and I would say that it's story wise, it's a very different story. And so
Mhm.
like it's the story is better in the Snyder cut. Like the ending is completely different. Like they're two completely
Well, and
different
then, like, there's
stories.
characters that we had no like, apparently you had no backstory to, and then you get the full
Right.
backstory to.
Yeah. So I would say that the Snyder cut of Justice League is better than the first one, and it's also just a better film, like a gooder.
A gooder.
It's a decent story, but like it's
Yeah.
still DC, so it's still like weird, like compared to like Marvel, even though Marvel is not as good as it once was. But like, um, so like when filmmakers and writers have the freedom to make whatever they want, like
Mhm.
it's always going to be better than what executives or bigger companies like say we want this. So like I do think that the Snyder cut of Rebel Moon, both movies, will be objectively better, and so I'm hopeful for that. But it's still going to be like a weird thing. But
Like I said, I'll let you watch it unless this video pops off, then I'll watch it, but if not,
yep, like I said, help us go viral, kids, if you're listening. Or I should say watching because this is YouTube exclusive.
yes, it is.
Um, but yeah, I like the visuals. I think the CG and the
I was gonna
aesthetic,
say, I felt like some of the like, ship aesthetics kinda sucked.
like the main ship.
Like, when they're, like, landing I think it was, Korra's flashback scene. The ships were, like, landing or something, and it just looked fake.
Oh, I didn't notice anything.
But it could've been my TV because for some reason, my Roku and my TV Netflix is always choppy looking.
I don't know. I didn't have any complaints with any of the
No?
CG or anything. Um, I really like the blaster fire, like how it comes out of the gun. It's like a big splash, and like how
Mhm.
like when they're hit, like it's almost like
A bomb.
magma coming out of them, like a little bit. Like
Mhm.
I don't know. I think like that looks cool. I like the cinematography a lot.
I like the sabers, like, their swords that
Yeah. So like the whole blade is hot, I think, and they have
yeah,
to
that
like
was confusing.
because like she touched it on her hamburger and she had to like wrap it with cloth, which is kind of interesting that like the whole blade
Or
is
was it broken?
I don't know. I feel like because it could have been broken, but like I
It
feel
just
like
wasn't explained well.
right,
Or
but
maybe that's why that, one girl can wield those sabers because she doesn't have
because she has the
the
gloves,
because she has robot hands.
right, and so that they're easier to hold on to. Maybe that makes sense. But it was just interesting that like the whole, even the hilt was on fire because they turn it on and it starts getting like smoky, fiery kind of
Mhm.
for their lightsabers. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was okay. The one thing I was really mad about was so there was what's his name. So like there's the love interest in the first movie. What is his name?
The guy that
Uh,
betrays them?
no, the guy with the beard that like jumps on the ship and then to fight the main guy and then dies. He gets thrown off the ship and lands and hits the ground.
Oh, the
Den
character we had no
Den was his name.
backstory to pretty
So like
much.
he was supposed to be like the love interest of Cora in the first one, but she didn't want. She has commitment issues. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Like, and he like goes to like fight in the field and like jumps on the ship when he's following the main guy. Like when he after the first explosion or whatever. Like that character was a cool guy, but he just like died right away. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
that's disappointing. Like I wanted to like see him like really like matter to the story because they kind of like hinted at it like in the first movie that he was supposed to be like the guy of the village, like the main hunter or whatever. And but like, here he kind of just did his thing and then went for the kill and then died right away. And I was like, oh, Okay.
Oh, I totally forgot that he was a love interest in the
Yeah,
first
it's
film.
very brief in the first movie, just because the most of the movie is just them not in the village. But it
Oh yeah, that was like in the first of the.
was like the first like 20 minutes.
Yes, I was like, who is this guy, and why is he on this ship, and why is this an important thing
Yeah, that's
when
who
he
that
died?
is.
I totally forgot
And
that
they didn't even show a lot of them, like even the first half of the
training.
movie, training or anything.
I
So
don't think we saw him at all, really.
so
Which is also a problem.
yeah,
It's just choppy, and like you said, like maybe it's because like Netflix wanted to hit a window, but then which doesn't make any sense to me if he already produced a Snyder cut, and that's why I think it's like he did it on purpose. Because like, why would Netflix cut something and then also still let him do it and then put it out anyways?
how he was
It's
interviewed and
not.
really explained it. You'd have to look it up,
Oh,
but
okay. Because like, remember, it's like it's not like it hit theaters. Like, what's the difference? You
he might
know,
have been
like,
on Joe Rogan maybe
oh,
recently.
maybe,
Maybe I saw like, that's what the clip was. Can't remember, but I remember him. Remember watching something where he explained like he's like, "I'll let you do your version, but let me do my version like after the fact. Like you'll get all your money for the main movies, but let me do my thing X amount of months later." And like they're like, "Sure, whatever. Like as long as we get paid." So,
yeah, it's weird.
but yeah.
It's just in general, he, I don't know.
So who knows if and when they're gonna do the next movies? It seems like they are gonna do another one, but it's just kind of like when.
Yeah,
So I doubt it's gonna. I bet it'll be at least another 2 years away.
you think?
Yeah, because they're not being produced yet. So like it's if they were to start producing it now, it's a 2 year process usually to push out a movie from writing to filming to editing
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So
Well, I hope maybe if the Snyder cuts actually do well, hopefully, they'll just let him do the next ones then himself instead of
right,
because then there's what's the point, you know? But I don't know.
right.
It's gonna be hard for me to watch the Snyder cuts of the films unless I know someone that like wants to watch it, and I'm just so happen to be there, and I was like, fine, I'll torture myself for 3 more hours, and hopefully it's good.
Hopefully,
I'll let Jeremiah do that. Unless, once again, you guys make this video pop off.
yep.
Then, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we've said enough. The
Yeah, like,
movie was okay. There was some really cool parts, but like it's just choppy
better
and
than the first one,
better than
for
the first one.
sure. Not that great of a movie still, though.
Right. High
Still,
highs and low lows, like I would probably describe it as.
yeah.
But anyway, well, if you're watching us for the first time, please follow us on YouTube here. Hit the subscribe button. But also, if you like listening to podcasts and all that jazz, look us up on Spotify, iTunes, whatever. We're there also. Um, and we got hundreds of episodes. We have 253 as of recording this, plus our other YouTube exclusives. And we got all kinds of other YouTube content like reactions to trailers and shows and other fun stuff. So go follow us everywhere. And so if you want to follow us, there's a link in the description right now on YouTube. And it's the links.co/Empire Radio. Links spelled with two I's. Click on that. And that brings you to everything Empire Radio. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitch. We normally live stream our podcast episodes. We're not live streaming this, but if you want to join us in a live stream every week when we record our podcast episodes, you can be in the chat. You can fact check us. You can ask questions, and we'll probably read them as we're doing our episodes and talk about them and stuff like that. Because when that chat is popping off, it makes it a lot of fun to interact with you
Yep.
guys. But also, you can join our Discord. We have a great Discord with a lot of fun stuff in there. We have voicemail time in every episode, or once a week on our episodes of the podcast where we do voicemail. So if you have family-friendly questions or comments, we'll play them on our podcast every episode that we do those. And so go check that out. Send us an email if you want. We have our fan email if you want to send us that. And we're also part of needlesslynerdy.com, which is an entertainment network that we are a part of. So if you like other nerdy content, apart from Star Wars or anything, there's all kinds of stuff over there for you to check out as well. Anything else, Drew?
Nope, I think that's it.
All right, cool. Well, you have been listening to another Empire Radio YouTube exclusive tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the force be with you.
Always.